In this video, I'm going to show you how to create content that actually drives sales for your business. And just for context, my name is Ravi Abuvala. I'm the founder of Scaling with Systems, where we build sales and marketing systems for our clients. We've worked with over 2,000 businesses in the past few years and have generated over $25 million in sales for our own business. And a lot of those sales come from our content. So just to show you, we practice what we preach. In the last month, 20% of our high ticket sales came from Instagram, 24% came from YouTube. And just in the past few book calls we had on our calendar here, you can see we had Instagram, Google, Instagram, YouTube, Instagram. And these aren't just some brokies that are funnel hacking us. These are quality calls. You can see this one here is doing $100,000 to $200,000 a month, asking for our help in scaling their business. So we practice what we preach. Now, before I show you exactly how to create this content, let me show you why you should create this content in the first place and how content plays a role in your overall marketing and sales process. So for the longest time, it was believed that a buyer's journey could be broken out into three main stages. You had the stimulus, which is when somebody would see an ad, for example. The first moment of truth, which is when they would land on a sales page, on your video sales letter page, when they would speak with your sales team, book a call. And then you had the second moment of truth. And this is when they would see if your promises in your marketing and sales process actually were delivered, if the expectations of what they were going to get actually came true. And that's obviously really important because you can't scale a business if all you're doing is making big promises on the front end and not delivering on the back end. So that's called the second moment of truth. Now, Google came out with a study a few years ago that showed that in today's digital marketing landscape, there is actually a new stage, and it's what's known as the zero moment of truth, or the ZMOTs. And this is where people are doing research in your product or service, right? So people still hear from you in an ad, in a podcast, maybe even some organic content somewhere, or a referral or a friend, but no longer are they going straight to book a call to speak with you. They are doing their research online. They are sophisticated. And so what they're doing is they're looking you up on multiple different platforms, Googling you, and consuming your content. And when Google published the study, what they figured out is that on average, it takes 7 hours of content consumption across 11 touch points in 4 different locations to turn this stranger into a ready-to-buy prospect. And that became known as the 7-11-4 rule. And so this is why it's critical to have some form of content in your marketing process. And if you don't, then when this person is researching whatever your product or service is, there's a good chance your competitors are going to have some content out there. So you're doing all this work on the stimulus side to get attention on your problem or in your solution, in your in your industry, and then somebody else is stealing all that traffic because they just put in a little bit of extra work to create that content. So when that buyer is in that ZMOT, that zero moment of truth stage, doing the research, that they are consuming their content. So now that we know where content goes, let's talk about, in my experience, the two types of people creating content. So the first one is going to be the content creator. And this sounds obvious, but this is actually what most people fall into, even if you don't think you do. So a content creator is following a marketing process forward to backward. So they are trying to generate a lot of eyeballs and attention on the front end, and then just trying to monetize those eyeballs on the back end. They will do absolutely anything for views. They will literally sell their mom if it means they're going to get more views for a video. They're a slave to the algorithm. Whatever somebody else is doing, if it pops off, they're going to copy that. If they see that this is trending well, this audio, they have to go over there and copy that. And that's why I also put copycats. They're really big copycats as well. You see a lot of people that are content creators doing the exact same videos as somebody else, just changing a headline inside of there. And because they are purely focused on content creation and they don't really have a back-end system in place there, they have to really make sure their content stands out. So they have to have very high production value. That means their costs really increase, and that means their team increases as well. And I know this. I used to have a media team that cost me $40,000 a month. So I'm not talking down to anybody here. I'm saying this is what my experience has been myself. This is easily a full-time job. When I was used to create content as a content creator, it wouldn't be uncommon for me to spend 30 to 40 hours a week creating content on top of trying to run my business as well. Most content creators index for reach or for views. That's their KPI that they're going for here. So whenever they're looking at metrics or tracking and what they judge themselves and other people by, it's how many views they can get. How many, how many new accounts have we reached? How many new people have seen my content? And I'm going to tell you why in a moment that's important, that you shouldn't do that. And they're making some money, but they're doing it from affiliates, from brand deals, from merchandise, from low ticket products, et cetera, et cetera. And so they're indexing, they're trying to copy like Mr. Beast and all these other people that have a lot of views, but they don't know that if they already have a business and they are running content to it, you have to get a disgusting amount of views based on the content that you're creating in order to make any kind of money. So most of their stuff is low product, it's affiliate deals, it's brand deals, et cetera, et cetera. And the people that fall in the content creator category, these are going to be most gurus that you look at. So all the other people telling you online, you need to create content. Oh, I'm the best content creator. I have millions of views on my videos and on my TikTok and on my Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be employees. So I've done this as well. I've hired people who had a lot of views on their own posts, on their own content. And I was like, oh, well, they obviously know how the content games work, so let me hire them. And this is also going to be a lot of agencies. So short form agencies that you'll hire, YouTube agencies. Everybody's indexing for just more reach, more views, more eyeballs. And they're telling you, oh, if you just post this content, then it'll eventually attract your right people and you'll be able to close deals from it. And I'm here to tell you that's complete baloney. And I'm not knocking content creators. I'm just trying to show the difference in the two groups of people. So I used to be a full-time content creator. Even though I was running a business, I was creating content all the time. And so this was the type of content I was creating. So how owning a plane can slash your tax bill. I'm a private pilot. I own my own plane. And so I was creating content around that because I thought, oh, well, if I could create content around owning a plane, that would probably go viral. And then that could help get people to buy my stuff. I talked about living in Miami. I talked about, I would do podcasts. Everyone's like, oh, if you want to be a content creator, the best way to do that is podcasts. Podcasts are long form content, blah, blah, blah. Except for little did I know, I was talking about a bunch of random topics that didn't have anything to do with what I was trying to sell. And I was really just giving that other person a bunch of clout. And so there was almost no benefit to me. And then on my YouTube, I would say why I'm selling my Porsche 911, why I bought and fly my own plane. So these were all either ideas that I had or people that I hired or agencies were like, hey, just create this kind of content and it's going to explode your brand, which is going to explode your sales. And that's just not true. And so instead, what I want to challenge you is I want to challenge you to think about creating content as a business owner. And when I made this shift, it changed how I did everything in content, from adding me as a content creator in the organizational chart, from me having actual time I dedicate to content, a specific small amount of time every single week, to these other things inside of here. So business owners, they are looking at content backwards to forward. So they already have a decently successful business. They're already selling some kind of maybe product or service. And so they're just trying to figure out, okay, if I'm already making sales, I already have my ideal clients, and I already have some kind of sales process that's working, I should get more people through the sales process. So instead of just saying, oh, I have all this attention, how do I monetize it? They're saying, oh, I have all these sales, how do I get more sales, essentially, right? The next thing is that they're only creating what drives sales. So they're not just creating content for content's sake, right? They're creating, maybe it's just one video a week, maybe it's 2 videos a week, maybe it's 1 post a day, but they are creating content specifically created to drive more sales. They have consistent and cohesive messaging. This is probably the most underrated part of being a business owner that creates content, going backwards to forward, is that all of your content across all different platforms, ads, organic, Instagram, YouTube, your video sales letter, your email sequences, your sales call scripts, all of that stuff is essentially saying the exact same thing. So the person is in that buyer's journey and they're seeing the same consistency over and over and over again, which is really good. That's what you want. That's how they learn to trust you. They learn, okay, this person is known for this thing. I'm buying this person because of this thing. And so the ability to look at this as a business owner and not what's the best thing for views, but what is just cohesive and consistent with the rest of my business is going to make your conversions rate spike. Also, you only have to spend like 1 to 4 hours a week creating content this way. You don't have to be a full-time content creator. You don't need to have a whole entire team and someone walking around filming content of you 24/7, 365. You could just literally create content for 1 to 2 hours a week. The other thing is that you're indexing for, or your KPI, is around shares and sales, right? So it's not views, it's not impressions, it's not account reach. It's shares and sales. And those are important for two main reasons. One, if you're a business owner, you know the power of referrals. You know that if someone comes and works with you and they love working with you and they send you another deal, how amazing is that? Well, imagine if all your content was the exact same things. A high quality business owner, whoever else you're indexing or targeting, they consume your content and then they say, wow, this is really good. Let me send this to somebody else that is just like me who will appreciate that. And that's essentially a content referral, right? And that's what shares are. So instead of saying, oh, let me see how many views I can get, you say, hey, let me see how many shares I can get. And then sales, which is obvious reasons. I'm not just creating content for content's sake. I only want to create content that drives sales. And then I want to put tracking systems in place so I can see what specific type of content is driving more sales and just create more content around that. And you also are a thought leader. So this is something I've been fortunate enough to be called in my industry by a few different people, their words, not mine, but people say like, hey, your videos don't get a lot of views, but your videos are the ones that are being shared around by 8 and 9 figure business owners. Like, and I get that message all the time on Instagram, like, hey, I work at this 9-figure company here, and we just shared this video inside of our Slack channel for our media team, for our marketing team, for our sales team. And to me, that's the biggest compliment I could honestly think of. That's what I want with content. That goes back to the share side of things. And so if other people are sharing your content with their team, their friends, that's the definition of a thought leader. You're the one that's leading the charge on that. And they are making a lot of money, not just a little bit of money, but a lot of money from their business, right? So they're just doing more of what they've already done and making money from their business. So you can make a decent amount of money doing content. You can make a stupid amount of money if you attach a business on the back of it and you go backwards to forward. So how do we actually create this content that drives sales? Well, I want to introduce you to a concept that I work with my clients on called the content prism. And the content prism essentially is the idea that instead of going forwards to backwards and just figuring out, let me just make all these videos and hopefully it drives sales, you're going backwards to forwards and you're starting with one core foundational asset. It's something that we call in our company the sales copy blueprint. I'm going to show you an example of it here in a moment, but this is what we create with our clients. And so with the sales copy blueprint, we can have that cohesion and consistency in all of our contents because everything stems from this one piece, right? So that way, whenever it's time to shoot our video sales letter, it's pulled from the sales copy blueprint, which we write the entire video sales letter for our clients. Whenever we're creating YouTube videos, it's pulled from the sales copy blueprint. Whenever we're creating Instagram videos, it's pulled from the sales copy blueprint. Whenever we're making ads, it's pulled from the sales copy blueprint. So that way, if someone sees an ad, goes to our Instagram, goes to our YouTube, watches our video sales letter, it's all the same messaging. It just feels like it's just another piece of content from us. It doesn't feel salesy. It doesn't feel marketing. It just feels like, and this is more of what I want. And so the more let's say top of funnel YouTube, Instagram ad stuff that I'm creating around my sales copy blueprint, and then my video sales letter and product is part of that content is in that sales copy blueprint, the more sales I'm getting, the more consistency, conversions that I'm getting through the pipeline here. But it all starts with one foundational asset. And the other big piece of this before I move forward is that when you have a solid sales copy blueprint, as you're hiring and ramping agencies and video editors and content creators, all that other stuff, you can give them the sales copy blueprint so everybody is on the exact same page. So what does this actually look like? Well, this is it right here. And like I said, we write this for our clients. You can create your own version of it, but it's a Google document and it's going to cover what your niche is, what your avatar is, what their primary goals are, what their secondary goals are, what their primary complaints are. And ours goes way longer than this. And it goes into what the mistaken beliefs are. What are their false assumptions, right? What are the objections that they have on sales calls typically? And so these all formulate this nice little almost like bag, if you will, that you can just pull pieces of content on at all time that drive sales to your video sales letter. So you create the sales copy blueprint. Then the next foundational asset you're going to create is your video sales letter. Now, this is specifically for those that book sales calls, and that's what we help our clients do. We build this system for our clients. And so if you have the sales copy blueprint down first, then you create the video sales letter. Now you're moving backwards to forwards. And you want a video sales letter that is converting, and you want people to get on the call and say, hey, I really love that video I watched before I got on the call. That's the reason why I booked the call. Because then the game just only becomes about driving more traffic, about getting more eyeballs to the video sales letter. And that's the fantastic thing, is that once you get the video sales letter down, now we get into the fun part, which is just content creation. And all the content stuff that you're creating has to do with what's in your video video sales letter, which has to do with what's in your product, which has to do with what is in the sales copy blueprint, right? So it becomes this huge, beautiful system, almost like this hybrid of paid and organic that are going together, that's inundating and, for lack of a better term, almost brainwashing your prospects into falling in love with your product or service and seeing that as a solution for what they're doing. And a lot of people tell me, well, Ravi, what if I'm creating this content and I'm in this niche industry, and so after some point I create all the content that there is to create about it, which, by the way, almost will never happen. But let's say you're like, I can't come up with any more content ideas. Well, guess what? Just like you would if you're trying to run ads, you would scale the top 20% and you'd cut the bottom 20%. So continuously go back and find the stuff that performed really well and just refilm it. Do it with a different hook. Do it wearing a different shirt. Do it in a different background. Do it in a different format. So a great example of this is a video I did, I think, a few months ago, and it performed decently well for my channel. And I was talking about how to treat your sales team like athletes, or why you should treat your sales team like athletes. And that's right in my sales copy blueprint, because we help scale sales teams and we optimize sales processes. So I redid it, but this time I did it in a new format using my iPad, we call them whiteboard formats or demonstration formats. And so I did the same thing. I covered the same topic, and it was virtually the same video, except for now I just did it in a different format. And so my audience, I probably could have just posted this original thing since it was months ago, and that would have been totally fine. But I just went ahead and just created a new version of it, and it's performing well after I posted it. So, and this is how exactly you're going to start to see your source of deals from organic start to increase. You're also going to start to see you can see right here, this one is an ad. This is an ad, this left-hand side schedule. And then they went to my Instagram organic. So they saw my ad, clicked on my Instagram from the ad, and then booked a call to speak with us, right? And so this is how you start to see really quality people book a call to speak with you. This is how you start to see your pie chart of what you're getting clients from in your business start to show more colors in this. So you're not just dependent only on ads or only on this one source, and you'll start to see your profitability going up as well. So with all that being said, if you want us to help you build out this entire marketing system end to end in the next 7 to 14 days, where we write your video sales letter for you, we write your ads for you, we help you with your content creation process, we give you the exact systems that I use, et cetera, and you want us to work with you one-on-one, I suggest you go below this video and clicking the button and watch the video on the next page, our video sales letter, where you can book a call to speak with myself or one of my team members. We're going to do a full audit on your entire marketing and sales system, walk through what we would do if we were going to come in there, and then if you want to, you can decide to work with us, or you can take it and do it on your own.